Hey guys, Novice Unicorn here. I have not posted a video in a little bit because I've been working on a couple things, been doing more research and doing some backtesting study, and I really haven't found a reason to post a video. I'm not confident. I only post videos when I'm fairly confident in what I'm posting, wrong or right. I am a novice. I don't know anything about stock trading, and a stock I've watched for a little bit here is AUPH. Um, and today it was quite a bit uh, in focus, and there was a lot of chatter and a lot of talk, and there was a lot of volume, and a lot of stupid uh, comments that I've seen, and you have to draw back and fall on what is the overall view from a market operator. And there's sometimes the price movement. You don't want to ignore price movement because it does tell you the truth a lot of times. But you have to look at a lot of factors sometimes because price movement can lie sometimes. And I had waited a considerable amount of time. I mean, I've been watching this thing when it popped up here. I generally don't buy pops, even though some people make a lot of money off of them. I've never found much success in it, and so and I know the trend. The trend. I actually deleted some lines here, but I had drawn a line essentially that from the top here went like this, and I don't think I posted another video on it, but the general trend on spec biopharmaceuticals is when you get good news or FDA approval or licensing agreement or some sort of whatever milestone agreements or whatever, you get these huge pops, and they almost always draw back because the pop is on the news, but then the stock is actually overvalued on that news, and then it kind of pulls back because a lot of day traders come in and high frequency trading machines and stuff like that push the stock in the wrong direction, overvalued. Um, and the key is to find out where the value is, and you'll almost always see where you get these huge pops. Now this is an interesting case. This is an interesting case, and you'll see over here on SPHS, which is another stock that I play. You had a similar situation where you had a massive move off of some good trial data, and it pulled back and had this little bounce retracement, probably because off of shorts that were shorting it, they closed out. The first bounce is usually off of shorts. The second bounce is usually half shorts, half longs, and then when you get like third or fourth bounces, that's when longs are actually starting to come in. But you had this little bounce off here, and then it failed pretty hard. Which I did not play this thing forever. I was watching about here, didn't play it because I know this pattern is very, very textbook. You get a huge move. You have a lot of people that will be like, "Oh, I got in there, and I made money off of it." Great. A lot of people lost money, and then you have the shorts that come in, and they're like, "Yeah, I made money, I made money, I made money," and then they close out. There's no buyers, and so the price goes down. It's a fairly accurate pattern because what happens is the news is good. Speculators and all this stuff push the stock price, and the high frequency traders push the stock price way up. And then when it's seen as overvalued, the stock is trying to find its mean value. If you know statistics, it's trying to find the value at which it's not too risky, but risky enough that you can get a payout. And so your mean values normally come in somewhere halfway up these big moves. Okay, you have 50% downside risk, 50% upside risk, or gain, that kind of situation. It gets worse. It can be more or less. The idea is that you're generally not going to get a huge spike like this, and then the price is going to level out there, unless the news is so good and instantly shows profitability. That's the key, because when there's good news, on these spec biofarms, it does not necessarily mean there's instant profitability. It means that the profitability is visible. Like, wow, this is a good drug. It could be really good. But they're not going to be profitable for some time. And so a stock cannot hold price on speculation for that long a period of time. I mean, the news feed of speculation has to be consistent day after day after day after day or week after week in order to keep price moving on speculation alone. At some point, people, major institutions for one, they're not going to say, "Wow, this is great news." They're going to look and say, "What's this news worth? When's the payout going to be? What's the stock worth right now? What's the curve going to be to what is now to when we think possible in a year or two or whatever?" And then we're going to build a game plan off of that of how much we want to pay. Okay? Your day trader ain't doing that kind of math. Okay? They're like, "Oh, this thing's moving. It's high volume, high volume." Like, they're dumb most of the time. But real operators are looking at what the value is. And they will see a huge move like this, and they will say, "Okay, we've done our math. It's worth this. It's worth this. It's worth this. It's worth this. It's a sale at this." Okay? And that's what real operators are doing. They're not playing this move because it's parabolic and they're going to be so awesome. And so the key is they're waiting to build a core position that is good. And I don't think my buys are on this chart. My buys are under 250 on here. They're in the range down here, a little bit down here. I think I actually did it at 250 right here. Because it's obvious that the mean value of this stock is seen somewhere in here. So when it's trading below that level, far below that level, that's on sale. This is a little closer. It's not really on sale at that point. But I already had a decent position, so, I'll risk adding a little bit on a dip there. But this is what's happening. The long players, excuse me, they're not seeing a parabolic move and saying, "We got to get in this thing now." And if you look at institutional purchases on a lot of this stuff, you're going to see that. And I'm going to go back real quick because this is not about SPHS, it's about AUPH. You saw commentary from whatever. People are ridiculous out there. "Oh, it was so good, it was so good." Yes. I actually have watched this move from here up, waited for the bounce, waited for the bounce, waited for the bounce, and actually this is my buy right here. So I did buy at 6.99, but I think that with fees, it brought up to an average of like 702. I'm not 100% accurate. The dash is not 100% accurate. I just drop it generally where I bought it at. Yeah, it would have been awesome to buy it back here. It would have been awesome to buy it, anywhere up this chain. It would have been stupid to buy it up here, which I warned people on this day. I said there's an offering going to come. They're cash starved. You watch my other video on cash starved companies, why the axe is coming. I think the video is, but it's obvious the axe is going to come on this one, and boom, it was like textbook. It was like right there, boom, right there. After out, here it goes. But the good thing is that you'll see on this move, the information that was provided by this after hours purchase was that the offering was between most of the major funds bought at 625 to 675, and they were offered the shares at whatever price they wanted to pay. Okay, they said, "Hey, whatever you want to buy," and so the purchasing range was 625 to 675. We can actually just draw it in here just for fun. Where are you at? 625. We'll call it right there. Walk it right in. Okay, so the purchasing range on this offering was right in here. Okay, and they only offered a certain amount of shares, which means, and this is actually the circle is my previous buy zone. I really wanted to buy it if it came down to that 50 DMA, but it is obvious that buyers are coming in well above that range. Would have been, I mean, I would have bought that thing up like crazy at that price. But um, so it's a fairly recent buy. These players are generally not looking to buy and then sell out off of a 5% move. You know, they're not snatch and grab operations usually, and they're gonna play. They're gonna buy puts and calls at the same time or something because they want to play both sides of the trade, or they're gonna buy because they've done their research and they've done their math and feel that it's worth more than this, or they feel it's at a sale at 625. But you will see at 675 that is a hard line, and that is the top of the offering price. So this offering math that came in off of here saying that this, I mean, there were people like this the period of time, there were idiots all over the place saying to buy this. Idiots all over the place. Oh, it's going up. It's going up. It's so good. It's so good. You are dumb. Okay? The institutions already said that the right here is the buy zone. They already said it. They said it with money. Okay? When you say something with money, that's the important thing. So ignore all these people that are like, it's so good, it's so good. Yeah, this was a short down through here. For sure, because they already said they weren't going to pay more than 675, and I said it how many times in posts. Don't. I got flamed. I got flamed on it. Don't argue with institutions. And I really expected this to come back down to the low price because a lot of times the institution would buy a little bit. They'll say, okay, yeah, we'll buy this at 675. We really only think it's worth maybe 6. We're going to hold back 3/4 of our position. And, maybe we'll be right, maybe we'll be wrong. We're not going to load the whole full position at one time, and unfortunately, it's obvious that the institutions that did not get offered pricing at this time want to buy it at the highest. They want to buy it before it gets down in below this point because somebody else will buy it, or somebody else is buying it and propping it up at the same time they want to buy it. That's generally what this is showing, is that somebody wants to get in, somebody else is already adding off of a low position. And so, but that's not even, I mean, this chart is great. People that are talking about this thing selling off are not watching, don't know tech. The only bad thing about this is that this is a way above average red day. That's average. Way above average red day. But it's Friday. France votes coming in, this weekend, and the market's freaking out. So, and this is a spec stock, which hits first. So it's, to me, that's expected. It's expected. It's going to take a hit until after the major political or global news gets removed. But here's what you got. You have a MACD below the indicator line, looking like it wants to follow the indicator line up. Okay, that's a really strong bullish signal. It's above 0 point. Anytime MACD, the black line, is above 0 point, price is going to tend to consolidate rather than tank, unless it's very, very high and dropping. And the spread here matters. But when they're really close and moving in tandem together, like, that's going to consolidate or move up. You know what I mean? Your money flow, this green line here, is set at 665. It's over 50 point, which means money is coming into the stock. Your RSI is above 50 point, which means the strength is actually on the upside. Your MACD and indicator line are both above 0 point, which is 0 point, and the histogram is closing in, which is that blue thing there, and it's curving. Okay, the only bad thing about this is that they're really, really tight. The further apart they are, the larger the price movement possibilities So the price movement here is kind of muted at the moment. But I'm going to throw this over to. Oops, it does not like it when I have that open. Stockcharts.com. I do really like this. Is probably one of my favorite indicators to look at. Was on balance volume. Essentially, the number of shares that are trading within the current ask bid spread. And as you can see, the on balance volume here is taking a uppercut. All right, that is very strong. Okay, anytime you see like an uppercut there, you're like here, you're gonna get a heavy price movement action. And the fact that you were coming out of the fact that this was coming down. See how this is coming down at the same time this is staying flat essentially? That means that this price action of downward movement is incorrect. And so that is a very strong indicator. But that being said, that's just my opinion on AUPH. I did buy this on the doji here. It's a middle of the chart doji, which is not the best doji in the world to buy on. But you had some increasing buying volume coming in. Your 8 EMA right here, 8 exponential, is about to cross a 20 DMA. Your 50 is coming in. I mean, you are so far above the 200, but it's a spec biofarm, so. But the real indicator is that it is not able to break. That's a great square. It's a great rectangle. It's not able to break this price area. Okay, so really, this was the smart people. This was like genius when you bought here. Me, I was waiting for the bounce off of the price. Okay, you had to test once, test twice, and now you're moving. Your Bollinger Bands are pinching really hard, but the upward, the bottom Bollinger is coming in just as hard as the top, which means you're going to have a consolidation period most likely, and then a breakout. It's either going to break out the top or the bottom. You don't know yet. But based on these other indicators here, to me, upside is the gain. The thing you're going to see though is that this, because this is spec bio, they're not going to have a huge movement to the upside without revenue. Like most stocks will not move without revenue, and so it could be muted. It could be muted. And the only way this is going to move to a higher level is if everybody decides that this thing is worth $9. It's not worth $7. It's not worth $6. This is worth $9. So your upward price action is going to be determined on what people actually feel it's worth, because it's not doing a revenue beat or EPS beat or whatever. It's not raising guidance probably. But that being said, this has the potential to move up, considering the way the charting is here. This candle right here is geopolitical influenced, and there's a lot of other factors in there on this. So that's my opinion. I'm not saying to buy this super hard here, but I am saying that you're gonna watch this area right here. Watch the price range here. If it breaks below that price range, you got problems. But this price range seems to be creating a significant amount of support. So, good luck, guys. That is my novice opinion. And don't listen to people that don't chart or don't look at fundamentals and don't understand biospec and just say, oh man, this thing is, I can't believe this went down today. Well, give us a reason. And, or give us a reason why it's going to go up. So, good luck.